All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we got the game started with Ricegum and 2pac THUGLORD going against Avxry and OP, and already off the rip, we have Avxry, who is currently down, and that is unfortunate. We're giving him time to change his settings, and OP as well, trying to heal up as he was damaged quite a lot. A very rocky start to start off, but of course are still sitting at 4 kills, not too bad, whereas on the other end, Ricegum and 2pac sitting at 0 kills themselves as they landed in Anarchy, not a spot we typically see.
Yeah, and regarding Avxry and OPSCT, of course, they just go toward the old soccer field. Of course, talk about the new one being added for the World Cup and whatnot, but they're going to go toward a typical spot. They're a team that wants to hang around the outsides, regarding the kind of the tilted towers. They go to shitty shafts quite a bit. This team also likes to go, obviously, here toward a soccer field as well. We see the early knockdown take place. But yeah, Ricegum and 2pac, definitely something to bring up, right? They go inside of Anarchy Acres. By no means is this a typical strategy at all. But one thing, too, that you got to also point out regarding all 4 of our guys, right? We got Mr. 2pac himself rocking the controller, baby. I love it. Console proud. Have cast over 2pac in multiple Call of Duty titles. Search and Destroy star. Amazing player when it comes down to the console game. And, of course, has swapped his overall skills into the Fortnite scene. Be looking out for this man, right? We talked about the ability facing off against, PC players, the ability to have that control of the keyboard and mouse versus the controller now. I mean, hey, man, he makes it look like as if there is no difference. So definitely a player to be looking out for is 2pac. He's got the strategies. He grinds out these games. So to me, Anarchy could, without question, be a strategy in his back pocket that they have been working on for a while, and they continue to implement. So.
And Ricegum not only has the Splodes, but he's got 8 total C4s. 2pac also rocking with 4 C4s. I feel like Anarchy is one of those places on the map that have recently lessened in popularity. I feel like you're seeing a lot more people land risky reels and kind of in those houses. It might also be because of these tournaments you're seeing a lot of pro players landing in that environment specifically. And of course, I just feel like Anarchy and that transition over to Loot Lake, it's kind of a risky push. Either you're going to have people already situated in the middle of the lake if they're going to be jumping there immediately off the spawn, or you're just going to be running around with no kills. There's only 37 engagements left in this game, 0 kills for Ricegum and 2pac THUGLORD, and of course you got 4 kills already out of Avxry and OP, and these guys, I'm telling you, Op has been that last series that we watched him play in, absolutely star-studded when it comes to the shotgun use.
Yeah, absolutely. And Avxry as well is one of those players to watch out for himself. And coming through, they started off in an area, he's getting some mushrooms, getting some hills as well. They're just taking a small little break still. No engagements on that left side of your screen. I do believe a tree just went down. That's going to give Ricegum the opportunity to potentially get his first kill, as we see now hopping on board with 2pac, and he is beaming the players down below with that gray AR, but still not going to deter him from getting in these engagements. Picks up 1 kill, trying to go for his second, Landon.
Yeah, I'm sure like a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with 2pac, or even just the Call of Duty like online tournament scene. I mean, of course, from being in the UMG background and whatnot, really Nick Merckx and 2pac THUGLORD ran quite a bit of our online search and destroy tournaments. So you talk about like the combination, the rendition of like comparing rather Nick Merckx and 2pac THUGLORD to each other as the nice snipe from, how far was that? Like
133 meters.
Yeah, that's insane. But kind of getting back on topic with his comparison with Nick Merckx. Both these guys, right? We talked about Nick Merckx, insane console player, regarded as one of the best in the world. 2pac is right there with him, man. He's an insane player. Haven't really been able to watch him play too much when it comes down to Fortnite, but these two guys, they know how to grind, and 2pac, a lot of the times in their prior history, they were grinding together. So they're going to have a lot of the same strategies, a lot of the same mindsets when it comes down to what is the online tournament scene, grinding each and every single night.
Rightly so. But I also want to mention, as he takes some major damage, this is the first time we've been able to showcase Ricegum in our tournaments. We actually haven't seen him because typically he gets knocked out early, and that's not a burn by any means. But it just comes to show switching up partners, going with 2pac THUGLORD, obviously making a difference. So I'm kind of glad to see Ricegum, obviously his famous YouTuber, very popular, coming out and showcasing his skills. But look at this, taking a lot of damage. Great defensive building, but 1 shot away as he gets taken out. 2pac THUGLORD now has to come to the rescue to try and fend off 2 players. He's low on health himself. Comes through with the shotgun. Also has the sub in his back pocket. Got the bounce pad to get some. A great play to pick up the kill, and he'll get the res. Talk about a good teammate to have.
Last Matt builds, manages to set that directional bounce pad, bounces out, absolutely murders that guy. And that's what we're talking about here, the versatility from console players versus these mouse and keyboards. They can hang. Obviously, Ricegum still down. THUGLORD takes out another player. 4 kills, 7 kills now for Ricegum and 2pac. We're going to see them take the lead here. This is game 1 if you're just tuning into the broadcast. Still 26 engagements left in this game.
Like, the amount of, like, knowledge, like, the awareness that 2pac has in that play, because what happens at the beginning of that fight, he realizes Ricegum's taking shots. Ricegum gives the call out. What ends up happening at the beginning of that play is that 2pac has a campfire. He puts it on the top of his ramp. He actually doesn't even use any of the flames. He doesn't take any excess health from it. He immediately goes for the engagement to try to help out his teammate Ricegum. Obviously, we see Ricegum go down, uses the bounce trap to jump backwards to find the easy kill. That was absolutely insane play. I mean, you talk about the versatility of utilizing some of these weapons for different characteristics. I mean, that was the perfect situation to use that, and the awareness to realize I have a bounce trap, I can use it in this way, takes out the player. And then also for the final frag that he finds, he has no ramp. So what does he do? He realizes, hey, I just killed someone. Let me go and grab a few of the resources off the ground, some wood, some steel, whatever it may be, bricks, etc. He grabs those quickly, puts down 2 ramps, and takes down the 3rd. The amount of awareness it took in that play from 2pac was absolutely insane. He walks away with 3 kills, 3 frags rather, and also helps reignite his teammate Ricegum into the fight. I mean, he absolutely has saved this series for that duo.
We're seeing some nice knocks and kills coming in on the opposite end, as OP is one of the most hyped players I've seen, at least. Looking at his webcam there, he is getting hyped with every single kill, and it just comes to show the intensity of his gameplay, picking up those kills on the side of the mountain. He actually had the plungers in his back pocket, showing, like you said, picking up those grenades. Definitely something useful to do. I feel the plungers, at least whenever it comes to casual players, are very misused, or at least underused, rather, because a lot of players just don't know what to do with them. They'll pick them up at the beginning of a game, but typically they'll ditch them. Having plungers in your back pocket, grenades in general, gives you an opportunity to knock down those walls, knock down those defensive builds, and we just saw a great example of that with OP. But looking at his screen, we see another player is in fact going to go down, and that is not Avxry. Looks like that's going to be Ricegum going down. So let's pay attention to Ricegum's screen here and see what happened to him.
I think his ramp probably gets shot down in the situation.
Oh, yeah. He misbuilt.
Oh, he does. Wow.
Yes.
So that's another situation where 2pac's okay. We can't get out of the storm, so we can't rock the nice little trampoline. So I'm gonna have to pick you up again, pal. Like, all right. I'll keep carrying you, no problem. But, yeah, I mean, that's really unfortunate because we talked about that last play. Granted, it's nice that in the situation that we see 2pac finding 3 frags in the last engagement, but this is slowing them down quite a bit. They had a lead for, a decent time. Of course, we see the other squad in OP, along with Avxry bringing it back. But this totally sets them back as far as this game is concerned, trying to find these engagements. Ricegum keeps being taken down.
With those plungers, I feel like you've got to use basically 2 or 3 minimum, like almost the entire stock drop that you get to be able to actually take out a build. And I feel like they've been more so useful in actually just kind of dinking those inside the build. If you can get them in, if they leave that top open in a 1x1, it does a lot of surprise damage because I feel like most people kind of know how to respond to frags, right? The bouncing of them. But you get some of those stickies in there, man. People panic almost instantaneously. It's a super, super fun tool and item to be able to use in this game.
I think it's a matter of just destroying the walls more than anything and kind of giving you a little advantage. You throw them out, destroy the walls, and, of course, you do that simultaneously while pushing up. And, of course, we see the impulse. He unfortunately misses that. He was trying to get a little boost out of the storm. Finally, he's able to connect with it and get out. But he has that player just behind him.
They are very far away from the storm.
And
he's got no heals at all.
And his teammate has 1 med kit. So that's unfortunately looks like we might lose a player here from the team of Avxry and OP.
Is he going to rocket ride him here?
That'd be fantastic.
Is that a shopping cart?
Try that out.
The bottom screen there.
Luckily, he's got bandage, a smart player from Avxry to pick those up on the way out as well.
Yeah.
We'll be able to split those with OP. But, of course, 2pac, THUGLORD, and Ricegum, 8 kills to 8 now, all tied up here in Game 1 so far. But it looks like Ricegum and company might actually be taking the lead if he can get in this engagement and win this gunfight. Unfortunately, he shoots the ground twice here. Does manage to get the build up off the ground. Nice play from Ricegum with the team shots going in. Nice knock with the finish. Now leading by 1 kill.
Still one more player ahead trying to go for it.
Nice
and Ricegum showing us he can definitely carry his weight when it comes to this game. He's sitting at 5 kills himself. Guys putting in work. We're sitting at 10 total kills on the left, 9 on the right. They have the lead at least by 1 kill as the engagements are coming to an end with a total of only 8 more engagements remaining, or 7 more, engagements remaining. But they are low on the mats. They're currently in the storm. And still, finally, he finds that med kit. I don't think he doesn't have enough time to pop it. He's going down.
Yeah, he does not. And that's huge because Avxry gave that one toward him. I think they found it off a dead corpse. and Avxry hands it off, and now it's absolutely going to go to waste. So for the rest of this game, Avxry is going to be a solo player.
Oh, no, I don't think he popped that in time either. You have to
It's gonna
pop
be
it
close, yeah.
above 20 seconds or else you might not be able to pop it just in time. But it looks like he was able to get it, of course, though, later on in the circle. If you pop it anywhere past 20 seconds, you're not getting it in time. But luckily, he was able to get it. Finally, Ricegum figures out how to use the bounce pad and build those ramps properly. And they're going to go ahead and break out of the storm and have a huge leap to finding the rest of these engagements.
And we've also seen both teams kind of have a little bit of an error. We talked at the beginning of the game, Ricegum and 2pac, of course, not able to, I think Ricegum has the misbuild. He ends up getting taken out. That slows down the momentum from 2pac and Ricegum's overall squad. In this situation, Avxry hands over the med kit to OP. He doesn't utilize it in time. I think actually he might be trying to go for the res. Or he
no,
wasn't
he's waiting for
he's
it to die to
die.
pick up the bandages and the med kit.
Oh, okay.
Smart play there from Avxry
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
definitely a heads-up play in that type of situation. I find myself all the time trapped in this storm. I mean, basically, you kind of just have to accept defeat here, and if you're your opponent, right, wait for him to drop and then get those heals. But this is still going to be extremely close with that double dink going on as that storm has finally approached the edge of the circle. It's going to be a rough play, Landon. It's going to be a rough play.
And like I was saying, we saw Ricegum and them. They were able to use that bounce pad to come in. As a C4, that's exactly what we saw in the E3 tournament with Ninja against Myth, and great usage of it to break down those ramps as his opponent was trying to push forward. Now trapped behind the boulder right behind, and great jiggle shots to come up and get some shots off. And of course, though, like I said, with them using a bounce pad to get into the circle, they have a huge advantage to pick up these final last engagements.
And another reason why they would have find these kills is Avxry is hot on their tracks. He's trying to just get out of the storm in some cases. So if Ricegum and 2pac can find these kills, that totally eliminates where Avxry's trajectory is on the map. Because if they shut down these engagements, they don't have to worry about Avxry getting in them because they're already shutting down the ones that Avxry would try to be getting in the first place. So the C4 gets rocked out. He's continually destroying these ramps, but he gets dropped from behind Avxry out of the storm, takes down at least one, and 2pac sitting on, what is that, 9 HP solely by himself. Avxry, hot out of the storm, is trying to stay alive himself as he also takes down some damage. We have two players with, less than 10 HP nearly, trying to stay up. While they're not squad mates, they also happen to be, in this particular situation, holding hands in this particular engagement, trying to stay up for as long as they can because they are so low on health here.
I really wish that would not have popped up on 2pac's screen. That's okay, though. Hopefully it'll go away and we'll be able to get back into the action.
What is this?
I have no idea what we're seeing, but there he is. Now we're back with the action. That's okay. He's still
like
low on health.
Commercial there, Taylor. But we're going to go back into Ricegum. Now taking out 2pac THUGLORD. He's got 7 total engagements. Drops that directional pad. He says, "I'm going for the Harry Potter push, baby."
Oh,
Gets shot midair! That man just straight up Angelina Jolie wanted him around that build. Straight up curving bullets. And, of course, Avxry, a good chance here to take the lead in our game 1.
Absolutely. They were only down by 1, of course, with these final engagements. He's managed to get a couple of them.
Thank you very much.
He uses the bounce pad himself, but he doesn't get any damage as he's going to lay down. Got a nice build battle coming here. We're going to see some great use of getting the high ground above his player. Spots a player just above. Tries to go in for the pop shot, but kills himself with the RPG. And you can see in his cam, he know that he messed up just a little bit. But you know if you're the other team, if you're Ricegum and you are 2pac, you got to be happy with that. I believe they're going into round 2 even or at least down by 1, but it's 10-10 actually, so they're going to be even.
Wow.
But you talk about a close round, and I got to say, Ricegum, 2pac, they're impressing me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is a very solid team. Of course, we talked about, like I said, like the Nick Merckx comparison and the 2pac as well. Like, these guys are known for grinding these tournaments. It's what their history has been, especially in the Call of Duty scene, the console scene as well. Grinding through these tournaments, playing 9 in and 9 out, and also kind of going back to the original strategy that we see coming in from this team. They end up going Anarchy Acres, which is totally out of kilter, like not at all a typical strategy, but they make it work. They get some good resources. Granted, they had a little bit of issues trying to keep Ricegum alive, the misbuilds from time to time. Both of our teams made a mistake, and it's fair to say it's great that it actually happens to be even, because you never want to see like a critical mistake, a misbuild, or an accidental like not rocking the medkit at the right time to kind of close out a series for you. So at least with both of those errors happening, we do have an even game coming into to match number 2 here. So I'm kind of glad to see that, but overall surprised by the Anarchy Acres strat that we saw at the break.
Yeah.
And curious if we see that again potentially.
I can't get over the fact that 2pac THUGLORD was able to get out of that situation using that directional pad.
Well, that's
Yes.
I mean, going back to that, just once again, the awareness that you have to have in that situation, the timing literally had to be perfect. He waited for those footsteps, popped the pad. Of course, the guy that's chasing him is like, this is easy, man. I already dinked it for 120, bounces out, manages to get the side shot, and cleans up another kill, which the guy had full health pushing him as well, drops him. Unfortunately for Avxry right at the end there, that build drops immediately. You pull the trigger just a little bit too early. As soon as that ramp drops, ends up killing himself there to keep it tied.
And one thing that I really like about the recent edition of the bounce trap being added to the game, because of course it used to be, right, in the game, the directional bounce pad essentially is what it was called during the beginning of Fortnite and whatnot. I'm glad that it's back because we always talk about in our Friday Fortnite tournaments, leading into what was it last week when it was added and into this week as well, how crucial regular bounce pads are, like how important they are to get out of a zone, to try and ignite different pushes to go to different zones, different landing spots, etc. These now kind of act as like a get out of storm, right? It's a matter of being able to kind of transition your gameplay. So one thing that I love that we're seeing from Epic is that they don't want to make anything too overpowered. That's one thing that we've been seeing from them, changing up the assault rifles, changing up the shotguns to make the heavies now comparable to the pumps. They don't want one thing to be the end-all be-all. If you don't have this weapon, it absolutely kind of, ends up ruining your run. They end up adding the bounce pads, essentially the bounce straps, to also kind of rechange up the overall strategy of what it means to kind of move your gameplay in different areas, the ability to escape the storm. Now you can do it with 2 different items rather than solely just one. Just all the credit to Epic for, of course, continually changing up their game and making some awesome change-ups to the map from time to time.
I think it's just what makes Fortnite so exciting is that every week you're expecting something new to come out, something that changes not only the dynamic of the normal gameplay, but even competitive. We've seen every edition be something that's viable. Of course, something that we've mentioned a little bit during the stream is the fact that the jetpacks are now gone. You have players like Typical Gamer and Thieves that were so good at utilizing that jetpack. Now that it's gone, of course, the bounce pad is pretty much as close as you're going to get to that for an item. So it's pretty interesting to see how these players can adapt so quickly to so many different changes.
One of the interesting things we're seeing here right off the bat is Avxry and OP, they go over to Shifty Shafts. Not a problem with that, but Ricegum and 2pac, we saw them go Anarchy last game. Now this game, they decide to go Greasy, which is something we definitely don't typically see. Of course, though, they can transfer over to Shifty, meet up with Avxry and OP later on if they want that opportunity. I think there is a player going to be hiding out in this house, but as we know with Greasy, it's a very open spot to be going to. But on top of that, too, you may find some decent loot in it, but you're not going to find heavy engagements in that area. So definitely trying to go for the slower strat of the two. Shifty seems to be a bit slow themselves. They don't pick up any kills. Haven't seen anything, at least in terms of engagements-wise, but that's okay. They have tilted their back pocket. But as I say that, Ricegum taking a lot of damage. His teammate 2pac already down. We could see an early game if Ricegum gets taken out at this moment.
Definitely look a little bit scary. Of course, has the pistol in his back pocket. Like I said, Ricegum does get taken down, and so does 2pac as well. That is so unfortunate to see.
One kill
coming in from this squad. And yeah, just like that, Avxry and OP only need 1 frag, 1 elimination, and then moving on to the next round. That is so unfortunate to see coming from this team, making as far as they did, having the insane play, like Legion mentioned, coming in from 2pac with that bounce trap. All of that leading up into this map, this particular game, and they get out. Get taken out.
We can't even see Ricegum's response because it's just a keyboard and mouse cam. But I'm assuming there's a lot of sadness in there on his face. Maybe at some point we'll be able to see that. But
well, he's still got to lose a bracket.
That's true.
Still got to lose a bracket.
It's true.
That's
true.
So, I mean, but it's a stack loser bracket. Well, you got FaZe down there. You got Ninja, Daquan down there. Who else do we have? Myth and Hamlins are down there. I believe they're still in the tournament
I can't wait
to
see Hamlins and Myth play again.
Oh, yeah.
I was so surprised how they lost at least
FaZe
at the beginning.
You said FaZe?
FaZe is still alive down there. So, I mean, that's still a stack loser bracket. Going into a loser bracket is almost scary now to being in winner's bracket, if I had to say so. But Avxry and OP have a real chance to take this. All they need is 1 frag. And they will, in fact, be moving on to the semifinals, to the finals of the winners bracket to see who's going to win and move in and be guaranteed at least a $7,000 slot.
Now, one thing that I'm curious about, kind of going back to the landing zones regarding Ricegum and 2pac, because I was just having like a hard time, like, okay, why are they going Greasy Grove? Prior to that, why are they going Anarchy? I wonder, we talked about like 2pac, like his ability to understand how these online tournaments work. He's played them numerous amount of times, probably like an ungodly amount of online tournaments that he's played in throughout his career.
Literally, it has to be almost, it has to be deep into the hundreds.
Oh,
for amount of online
easily.
tournaments that guy's played.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I wonder if he knows Avxry's strategies, with him and Noah J, because we talk about they like to hang around in shifty shafts. They like to kind of play the little bit they like to play slower, right? They're not about the all aggressive play. They're not a tilted tower squad. They kind of hang on the outskirts of maps, like to kind of play the gatekeeping role from time to time. I wonder if that just happens to be 2pac's overall play, or if coming into this series he did a little bit of research and said, hey, we're also going to kind of play a little bit slow. We're going to go to Anarchy, the top north side of the map. We're going to go toward Greasy Grove, the far left side of the map, because looking at those 2 landing zones, there isn't a whole lot of outside of that, because if you go to Greasy, you have Shifty, Tilted's not too far away. If you're going to Anarchy, Pleasant is a very far walk. You got Tomato Town and Wheeling Woods, but there's nothing really there. All that relates to is the slow passive play. So I wonder coming into this game is if they know their opponents or they just happen to have the exact same play style.
I think somebody like THUGLORD, I mean, he's been playing in so many of these events that I wouldn't put it past him at all to have been studying opponents' gameplay going into stuff. I mean, especially, it's really funny in video games in general, but I feel like you've got several levels, right? You got your casual, your extreme casual, and then you've got your person that's interested in esports. Then you've got the wagers and tournament grinders, which are on an entirely different level. It's actually very odd because a lot of these guys have never been professional players in the actual game themselves. Some of them transfer over eventually. We're talking Call of Duty, for example, S&D stars, or even from the Halo days back then, free-for-all. But you're looking at guys that are so good at just getting the wins in these tournaments that you're like, I don't understand how you have a strategy every single time going into this. And it really is just consistency in playing. So I bet you're right there with that Anarchy drop. He was probably thinking, hey, they usually drop up north here on this map. I'll probably just keep it close and try to have the same similar type of play style. But Avxry and I still don't think they have a kill yet.
They don't have a kill, and I was just going to point that out. They're within the circle, but look how close they are to the edge of the map. That's actually a pretty rare circle that we typically don't see. So they're just going to be hanging out back here, and I'm telling you what, they know they're 1 kill off. They're not going to put anything to risk. They're going to make sure that they're stocked up inventory-wise, shield-wise, health-wise, as well as resource-wise, and we're seeing just that at this point. So God bless anybody that they do run into, but only 1 kill off from taking away this victory and then moving on to play whoever wins the next match between Dr. Disrespect and Crafty and, of course, whoever they're playing. So that's going to be a good match nonetheless. But, hey, we could have a serious next matchup here.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing I want to point out quickly is I'm just imagining probably the reaction that Ricegum and 2pac are having right now, just watching hey, if these guys don't find a kill, we're feeling pretty good. Of course, you see the eyes in the bottom left of the screen. That right now is Ricegum and 2pac. They're hoping, they're praying that Avxry and OP happen to just not find this Friday. They're hoping they get taken down some way, somehow. But, I mean, it's going to be pretty it's going to be difficult, right? It's going to be awkward for them not to at least find one engagement where they walk away with the kill. So it's going to be difficult.
Well, they're moving into Shifty now.
Yeah, and here it is. Here's the potential. 1 frag is all they need. It happens to be lined up for Avxry. Can he continue on to see the reaction on his face? Going to rock the impulses. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident, and he has every right to do so. And just like that, there goes the knockdown. The official kill just on the outside of the shopping cart as he will be thankfully delivering themselves to the next round.